Hi friends, Nancy, gratefully recovering food addict here. I want to discuss my eating plan changes, food plan changes. I've wanted to discuss this for quite a while, but wasn't feeling like it was the right time because I was still in the middle of figuring out the changes that were going on with me. So I was following kshepherd.com, her food plan. It's a beautiful plan, Mediterranean, weighed and measured, very healthy, balanced. It's a beautiful food plan. I highly recommend it. And I followed that for 7 years. And then at the doctor's, my blood tests show that my potassium levels and my iron levels were really very high. So they did testing to see if I have that hereditary iron thing, and that was not the case. So I went to a dietitian to see how I could lower my potassium and iron levels. So the iron part was leafy greens and especially spinach. I cut those out. And then the potassium, lots of healthy foods are very high in potassium, and usually people are low in potassium, but so I had cut out potatoes, sweet potatoes, beans, legumes. Many vegetables are high potassium. I went to eating the lower potassium vegetables like cucumbers, zucchini, that type of thing. Tofu is high in potassium. I don't know, there's a big long list. So I was cutting out those things. And my blood tests were coming out better. And then I started having inflammatory problems. My lips were swollen. I was thinking I had an illness, according to Dr. Google. So I went to the doctor, and I went to a specialist, a rheumatologist, and took a blood test, and it wasn't what I thought it might be, but I do have rheumatoid arthritis, which, the doctor was amazed. I don't have any symptoms as long as I eat low inflammatory foods. So I did a bunch of research for that, and eggs are inflammatory. Nightshade foods, if you don't know what those are, you could look that up. And dairy, tofu again. There are a lot of inflammatory foods. So I was cutting, and grains, all the grains. So I was cutting out a whole food group with that. So it was getting a little dicey for me. I was cutting out a lot of foods, and I was really restrictive. I was still trying to follow K. Shepherd's plan, which is a beautiful plan. I highly recommend. With, the dietary restrictions, and I started overeating on protein and fruit. So I was, it's very upsetting because I had been totally abstinent, 100% on my food plan for 8 years. And so I was really worried. I worked closely with my sponsor, and she was very comforting to me. She said, you're not the same person you were 8 years ago. you have learned a lot in recovery. You've come a long way. And I knew I didn't want to pick up any of my alcoholic foods, the red light foods, sugar, flour, wheat, volume, high fat, fried, whatever, processed foods. They wouldn't help with the inflammation either, keeping the inflammation down. So a doctor had recommended the Whole30 diet to my sponsor, and she had really good results with it. So I thought, well, I'll try that one. I just wanted to latch onto a food plan to follow, so I would have guidelines and not make it up as I go, because as a food addict, that would be a disaster. I've made up a lot of my own food plans, and it's bad. So my sponsor thought it was kind of funny, because usually people going on Whole30, they have to cut out so much. It's so restrictive, and it's like a big, huge change. It's not like the American diet. My sponsor got a chuckle because I added a couple of foods to the Whole30 from what I had been trying to survive on. Oh, and while I think of it, I think the overeating meat protein part was that they've started adding, like, to ground chicken and turkey, they're adding natural flavorings, and my body sees that as sugar, so I think it's sugar. And so I was very careful about reading package labels, and I bought this vacuum sealed hunk of meat to cook in my Instapot, and it really, I overate the meat, the protein, and I had never done that before for 8 years. And so I looked on the package, and sure enough, you'd think it was just a hunk of meat, but no, they had to add natural flavorings. And so I'm just really, really careful now. I only eat organic, grass-fed, farm raised, and I'm very careful about the labels, and I haven't had a problem overeating protein after that. The fruit has been a problem for me. I know they say in recovery that your disease is out in the parking lot doing push-ups, getting stronger and stronger, and as long as you are abstinent, you keep it at bay. But so my disease has progressed all this time while I've been abstinent, and I guess the fruit just has too much sugar. So I'm not recommending anyone cutting out any food groups. I'm just telling you my story because I have a video that says that I follow a different food plan, and I just wanted to be absolutely upfront and honest that my body is changing and things are changing for me. So then, so the Whole30 was not seeming to work for me. I was feeling like I wasn't getting the nutrition I needed, the vitamins. That's why I was prone to overeat. So just by chance, I happened to hear a vitamin that Kay Shepherd said was good, that doesn't bother a food addict. So I got those, and I can't remember offhand, but I will link it below. And they do seem to be very good vitamins. But the Whole30 was not working for me, so I thought, well, let's see. I'll try keto, because it's very low carb, which is what I was doing. So I tried the keto, and I hadn't used any kind of processed grain flours or anything like that. But on keto, you can have oat flour and coconut flour. So I did try those, and you can make these little mug cakes and things. Well, I was making like 3 at a time and overeating, so I had to throw that stuff out. I was eating nuts. That got out of hand. Those are very easy to overeat, high fat, and so I had to cut that out. And in my brain, I thought maybe it would be nice to have popcorn instead. And no, this food addict cannot touch popcorn. Can't have a serving, have a whole bag, and then drool all the next day to get another bag, And then dairy, the cheese. Well, see, dairy is inflammatory, so I knew I knew that wasn't good for me, but it's on the keto plan, and I kept telling, the disease talks to you, I kept telling myself, well, I need the fermented cheeses for my gut health, because I'd also learned that like an autoimmune disease, which is what rheumatoid arthritis is in that family, that you need fermented foods. I was making sauerkraut. I can no longer eat the sauerkraut. But I made my own homemade bone broth, which is, I think, bone broth and a I want to say antibiotic, antihistamine, no. The stuff they put in yogurt. I'm sorry, I'll list it below. Helped with the leaky gut. Leaky gut, foods you eat aren't filtered the way they should be, and they kind of get out into your bloodstream without being refined or whatever. I don't know. You can Google it, find out. So your body makes up antibodies to fight it, and that's what causes the inflammation. So anyway, the I can't remember the name. Anyway, so that was helpful. You can look up how to make the bone broth too on YouTube. Good videos. Anyway, so I've had the fight with the cheese, and so I have moved on from that. I really don't want to discuss the food plan I'm eating now, but I'm feeling very good. I'm feeling healthy, and I'm feeling I am not overeating. I'm in control. So, as much as a food addict can be. So, during all this process, through the Whole30 and the keto, I don't weigh myself at all, so I have no idea, but I have gained quite a bit of weight. I have gained 3 sizes. So I went from size 10 to size 16, and it was a size a month. Once this hits the fan, it hits the fan. So now I'm at the point, I'm in a good place. I'm not overeating. I never did touch sugar. I can't say I didn't touch a grain. I mean a flour now, because I did experiment with the coconut flour. Now I'm saying some people, some food addicts, the keto is perfect. The Whole30 helps you find out what your body is sensitive to, it's a beautiful thing to do. I'm not dissing any healthy food plan, and that's the key. You want to be healthy, taking in all the nutrition that your body needs. So at this point, because I'm talking with my sponsor this whole time, and she's giving me love and encouragement. What a blessing she is in my life. And at this point, it's pretty much vanity. Okay, I feel great. I'm exercising every day. I feel wonderful. I don't feel fat until I look in the mirror and I say, well, none of my old clothes fit. I've got bulges and stuff that I don't like, but it is just vanity because I am feeling great. So maybe, I think through this whole process, it's been a lesson in trusting and relying on my higher power. And because it was scary, it's scary to be out of control like that and to have to change things up so much. I loved the K Shepherd food plan. It really worked for me very well for 7-8 years. I hated to give it up, but I've had to make adjustments, keep my inflammation down. I don't want to have to take the medication. There are always side effects for medication. So I think what my higher power has in store for me these days is to accept myself, no matter my size, my age, my hair color, my wrinkles. My higher power wants me to accept myself and love myself. So that is the latest project in my recovery journey. Every step of the way there have been lessons and I've been learning things, and it has been a beautiful journey, and I wouldn't miss a piece of it. I wasted so many years in my disease just sitting in front of the TV and eating and waiting to die. Now I have a life that I love, and I will get through this. When I started my food plan, I lost 167 pounds, but it took 3.5 years to lose that 167 pounds. So now, even though it took me 3 months to gain this unwanted weight, I should probably not call it unwanted. I should probably embrace it and love it so it'll happily go away. But so I know this is going to take some time, and I'm kind of grateful for this quarantine period so I can stay inside. And anyway, it is a lesson, I think, for my higher power on self-love, because I have come a long, long way with self-esteem and self-love, slowly, step by step, baby steps. But this is the clincher. This is the kicker. Love myself no matter my size, my clothes size, my weight. Love myself. So that's the takeaway. I'm not going to promote any certain food plan. We're all different. We all need different things. And I wish I didn't have to change mine up because it was just a beautiful, healthy, lovely plan. But that's life. And my faith and my trust in my higher power will get me through this, as my higher power will get me through everything and anything. So God bless you all, and God bless you on your journey, and don't stop until your miracle happens. Bye-bye.